Good evening, I'm Jesse McCall, live from the studios of Trayong News here in Phnom Penh, Cambodia. Tonight, I do not bring you a diplomatic update. I bring you a eulogy for history and a crime report against a neighbor who has lost their soul. For months, the world was warned. Cambodia warned of provocations. Cambodia warned of trickery. But today, December 9th, 2025, the Thai military regime committed an act so vile, so irreversible, that it'll stain their history forever. We've received confirmation from the Ministry of National Defense as well as the Ministry of Culture and Fine Arts that Thai forces have launched destructive acts against the Thang Krobay Temple. They did not just shell a military position. There was no military position there. They targeted culture. They targeted the sacred stones that the Khmer ancestors built and preserved for generations. They've adopted a scorched earth policy, saying that if Thailand can't have it, nobody can. You see, they couldn't win the legal argument. They couldn't win the moral argument. So they decided to erase the evidence of history with explosives. Tonight we dedicate this broadcast to the outrage of a nation under siege. Will expose the political cowards in Bangkok who ordered this. Will expose the lies they tell their own people, and we will scream for justice for the families fleeing into the night. It seems that Thailand wants war, and maybe they've even started a war on civilization itself. Let's begin by looking at the cold hard facts of this aggression. This was not an accident. This was the plan. Today, the Ministry of Culture solemnly condemned the attacks on Thang Krobay Temple. Let's be clear. This temple survived centuries. It survived nature. It survived previous wars. But it could not survive the jealousy and spite of the current Thai military command. What was the motive? Well, Thailand knew that the Joint Boundary Commission, the JBC, was close to finalizing the final border demarcations. They knew that international law would recognize Thang Krobay Temple as Cambodian heritage. So instead of accepting the law, they chose to blow it up. This is the logic of vandals. This is the logic of barbarians who burn libraries because they can't read. Also, December 8th, notably, Prevahia Temple was also targeted and sustained substantial damage, resulting in the total destruction of some of the conservation facilities there. And it didn't stop there. The aggression has spread like a cancer. According to the Ministry of National Defense, at 1503, Thai military fired into the Mohasrap area in the Tamapok district. At 1505, they fired 60 millimeter mortars into Tukpo village. 1529, Thai infantry entered Praychan village. This is an invasion. At 1602, artillery fired into the pond area on border pillar number 47. 1606, artillery fired border pillar number 46. Let's step back a moment. How does Thailand justify all of this? How does Thailand justify this aggression? Well, they justify it by saying that several weeks ago that their soldiers stepped on landmines. Let's stop pretending that this is a mystery. Thailand intentionally sent their soldiers into known, decades-old minefields in the wilderness, areas that they knew were dangerous. They walked their own sons into traps just to create a headline. They sacrificed the legs of their own soldiers to manufacture an excuse to invade Cambodia. This is not defense. This is a blood sacrifice for a political narrative. And if you doubt their intent, listen to their own words. The Thai Army Chief of Staff publicly stated his goal is to cripple Cambodia's military capability. This is not about a secure border. Using terminology that the desire is to cripple Cambodia's military capability has nothing to do with a secure border. They want to try to break a nation. What they want to do, if they could, they would want to kneel on the neck of a smaller neighbor until that neighbor stops breathing. Please understand, this is not a border dispute alone. This is an attempt at subjugation. They destroyed a temple today for what? To show the world that nothing is sacred. Their desire is to cripple Cambodia. But I believe that they will find that while maybe stones may break, the Khmer spirit, the Cambodian spirit, is much harder than even granite. And so who ordered this? Who is the architect of this vandalism? Well, we can look over the border and we can see a Thai prime minister who is fighting for his political life. And we can look at the diplomatic tantrum that he is throwing. Prime Minister Anutin Chanvirakal of Thailand has suspended the Kuala Lumpur peace accords. He stood in front of the world and says he doesn't care about ASEAN, he doesn't care about the United States. He's declared that the peace deal is null. He's behaving like a child who flips the chessboard because he's losing the game. And what's the motive? Because the motive is this: 2025 has been a disaster for him, and he's looking for a distraction from his failures. We've seen the floods in Hat Yai province in Thailand. We've seen corruption scandals in Bangkok. We've seen economic failure in Thailand. And the Thai prime minister needs a distraction. So he decided that maybe he needs a war. He looked at his failing poll numbers and decided that the price of his re-election is the invasion of Cambodia and the destruction of Angkor Wat Temple. He's lighting Cambodia's house on fire so his people won't notice that his own house is flooding. Ladies and gentlemen, we're seeing the true face of the Thai elite. In Kuala Lumpur, they wear suits and smiles, and they talk about friendship. On the border, they wear fatigues and sneer. They talk about crippling a neighbor. This Jekyll and Hyde attitude is an insult to diplomacy. You cannot shake a hand with the right hand while holding a detonator in the left. I want to point out the difference in leadership. From Thailand, we hear the Thai Prime Minister saying, "We will fight, we will crush, we will take." Where here in Cambodia, we hear Prime Minister Samdech Tapade Hun Manait saying, "We will protect, we will defend, we will save." It's clear as day. One is the language of a predator. The other is the language of a guardian. Thailand seeks to conquer. But ladies and gentlemen around the world, wherever you are, please understand, Cambodia seeks only to exist. I also want to point out the theater of and the absurdity of Thailand's flag-raising videos, which were seen online today. Videos of Thai soldiers filming themselves taking down a Cambodian flag to raise a Thai one, and then citing their map, which is a 1 to 50,000 scale map, saying because of their map, this land belongs to them, they're taking back this territory. May we be reminded that this is a map that they drew that no court recognizes. This is a performance art for TikTok. Real countries use treaties. Fake regimes use theatrics. So what is the root cause of this? Let's say the quiet part out loud. The root cause of this aggression is fueled by racism. The Thai elite look down on their neighbors. They view Cambodia as the lesser brother. Their self-righteousness blinds them. They thought they could bulldoze Cambodia and that people would just bow down to them. They need to be reminded that pride goes before a fall. And Thailand is falling morally, diplomatically, and historically. Amidst this rage, Cambodia has stood with dignity. But silence, of course, is not an option. The Ministry of National Defense confirms that due to the aggressive actions of the Thai military forces, which initiated firing and encroachment on Cambodia's legitimate sovereignty, that today the Cambodian armed forces, after several days of patience, had no other choice but to exercise their right to self-defense. They held their fire for days. They took the gas, they took the bombs. But when Thai infantry entered Braychan village at 15:29 today, Cambodia defended its motherland. For Cambodia, this was not an escalation, this was just survival. This morning, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs held an emergency meeting with 30 foreign ambassadors and the United Nations. Cambodia presented the facts. Cambodia facilitated for the AOT, the ASEAN Observer Team, to join via Zoom. Cambodia showed the world that Thailand is a rogue actor. Thailand has forced Cambodia's hand. Cambodia did not want to enter into any type of conflict. Cambodia does not seek war. But at the same time, we cannot just lay down and allow territory and aggression to happen. So unfortunately, this retaliation, it is legal, moral, and necessary, but very unwanted. But we cannot just eat moral victories. And moral victories do not stop shrapnel. I want you to remember that Cambodia knows the value of peace because it paid for the peace that Cambodia has so enjoyed over the last 30 years. It's paid for this peace in blood. Cambodia rebuilt this country from zero. Every temple, every village is a miracle of survival. To see Thailand today destroy Angkor Bay Temple is to see them stab at the heart of a survivor. Let's take a look at the refugees. The numbers are staggering. As of this morning, we've had numerous civilians killed, numerous injured, thousands of families in Prevahia that have had to flee their villages, thousands of families from Oda Minche, thousands of families from Banti Minche. These are very serious times for the Cambodian people. People are running away from the border areas, running across the country. Why? Because Thai Prime Minister Anutin needs a boost in the polls. This is the human cost of Thai arrogance. Look at these families. These families should not be collateral damage. They're the victims of a neighbor who has lost its humanity. Thailand is creating a generation of trauma to satisfy a moment of greed. So, tonight, we turn to the world. We turn to you, to peace lovers. We talk about preserving culture. Just today, Thailand bombed a centuries-old temple because if they can't have it, nobody can. We ask you, world, please join us in this outrage. We ask, where is UNESCO? We ask, where is the World Heritage Committee? The silence is deafening. I want to speak to those of you who hate injustice. Look at the map. Look at the 18 soldiers that have been held hostage for 133 days. Look at the civilian shot dead in Praychan village over a month ago. Look at the ruins of Angkor Bay Temple. There is no both sides here. There is a vandal and there's a victim. To those that hate bullies, Thailand is a schoolyard bully with an F-16 fighter jet. They think they're too rich, too touristed, too important to be punished. We ask you to join us in proving them wrong. Boycott the aggressor. Condemn the destruction of history. Sanction the regime that uses toxic gas. One final word for tonight. I want to remind you that Cambodia is small, but they are the custodians of Angkor. They are the protectors of this land. Thailand may have broken the stones of Angkor Bay today, but they cannot break the history that put them there. And Cambodia will rebuild. Cambodia will return. Cambodia is resilient. And the world must never forget, never ever forget who burned down this temple of peace. it was Thailand. So good night from Cambodia. Stay safe, stay strong. Remember, the truth is your shield. And join us in advocating justice and peace for Cambodia. Good night.
ត្រយ៉ងនាំសារពិតគ្រប់ទីកន្លែង